Welcome to another episode of Code Tutorial. Today we are going to be talking about something interesting. Some people are asking how to get started with JavaScript library, React, for example, and how you can get it to build front end instead of having to write the core JavaScript, HTML, CSS. So before we start, I just want you to know that the React is a JavaScript library that helps you generate pages dynamically as to when you need them. So it's under the category of what we call a single page application, an SPA. So you only load what you need per time. So it makes application more scalable, more secure, and access more faster. So component based means components are more like functions. So you need to understand some level of JavaScript before going into React. So today I'll just teach you on a quick tutorial on how to get started with React. Like it is in everything. Everything you see out there has a documentation. And for case of React.js, you are going to be installing it using this particular, is it a framework now? It's called Vite. Some people call it Vite, but I think it's Vite. Yeah, it's a French word for quick. So you install React in two ways, either using npx or Vite. Npx is quite old school, and your apps are a little bit more heavier and than what we see in Vite. Vite is lightweight and scalable. So we are going to be installing Vite, and we are going to be styling with Tailwind CSS for our front end. So basically, the installation process is quite straightforward. So let's quickly take it from here. Um, this documentation says the first thing we need to do is run an npm create Vite latest my project. This is the command we need to run. So mind you, you must have had Node.js installed on your machine to have access to this. I want to have this folder on my desktop. So I will say npm create Vite at latest. Let's call it code tutorial, for example, and see what we have. So I decided to just have a folder for this on my desktop. So let me make one quickly. Let me call it code T, for example, to give me a directly called code T. Then let's go into that particular directory we just make. And once you enter the directory, then we want to run probably, let's just open it up first in VS Code or WebStorm, anyone you're using. So I'm going to be opening it up in VS Code. So I want it opened up in VS Code. At the end of the day, it is going to use any of my IDE, and automatically I have it coming up, yes, in my VS Code. So inside of my VS Code, this is my file structure area, and this is my work area. You know how VS Code looks like. So I think this is just updated. I want this up. I want to bring my terminal up. I go and say new terminal. So you can work with this anyhow you please. So we run this, and let me call my project code WTY, seeing code tutorial. Let's see what we have. Automatically, it will try to install Vite for me. So I don't want this video to be long. I'll pause it and bring it back as the installation is going, so that I can keep track of the options I'm taking and all of this. So he's asking if I want to install a new app. Yes. So Y for yes, N for no. So I'm going as Y for yes, and installation process will start. So just so you know, each application you want to build, you have to run the same command. So each application is a new React app under Vite, or a new Vue app under Vite, or a new vanilla app under Vite. So you can see the options you have. If I want a React app and I want just JavaScript, we use the JavaScript with compiler, TypeScript, and but we just want JavaScript. And just know for these install NTS for that. So let's just wait for it to install completely. So when the installation is done in your folder, you will see the whole application folder you just installed, having your node modules, your public, where you place some things that you want access to all over your applications, like pictures and all those things. You have the source file where you have your components, your styling, and all of these guys. You have the git ignore file. I just quickly begin with the breakdown. If you want to upload to a version control like GitHub, and you don't want all your files, of course, you don't want all your files out there. You have it here. You have an index Remember, I said it's a single page application, so we have just one HTML file. Your package or JSON here contains your package that you're using, and we have our config.js, maybe where we set up our application entry port, so we set up some other core parts of the application like your tailwind and all of those things. So with all of these guys done, I could just easily um, change directly into the folder we just have for application, and as soon as I'm there, I can run npm run dev to get my application working. So this is for front end engineers. You consume things coming from back end, from APIs, and you build scalable front end app with the library. So it's saying I'm running on localhost 5173. So if I go to my browser and I go to that address, localhost, and I go to port 5173, I should see my app running. A new app. You can see the title saying code with Vite. So yes, this Vite plus a React app. So automatically I have this. I'll show you where this code is coming from. So yes, it is as easy as that. So let's quickly set up Tailwind CSS, and maybe we could write a quick app instead of having this conventional front end you normally see. So let's just go on with it. I go back to my application. Um, you first of all want to work with your config.js. You can see we have now. If you are not used to JavaScript, then this code might start looking a little bit confusing, but this is nothing that you're importing a particular maybe package or a module. This is we have named import, we have default import, name export, default export. So it's the same idea all through. This is you're exporting this function called default config, and inside of the function you have an object that is a key and a value pair. The key is plugins, and the value is an array of plugins. So this is where we are going to be throwing in our one of our plugins, which is Tailwind. So quickly, let's see what we can do about that. So after this, we have done this. So now we want to install our Tailwind in our application. So I'll copy out this. So anything you want to do at all, there's always a documentation for you. So let me quickly stop this server because of time from running. I'll clear the screen, and I want to quickly install my Tailwind. So this will actually install Tailwind CSS for me. So I'll pause the video now, and when the installation is done, I'll come back to the video. So our installation is done. Our Tailwind CSS is available. If you want to see all the packages you are using in your app, all the packages you have installed, you can always see them in your package.json. You can see it has, it says the type is a module here. We are using a Vite, and we are building a Vite. And yes, these are Tailwind that we have. We have our React DOM. If you're using React Router, maybe later for routing, you are going to definitely see all of them here. So quickly, let's just finish up this styling config for Tailwind so that we can have Tailwind work everywhere. So after that, he said we need to do what? Import Tailwind from where it's coming from. So I'll just copy this. I'll come back here, and I have import Tailwind CSS from this. So as soon as I do that, I will add this to the array of what we have. So that means whatever Tailwind CSS we are importing, whatever Tailwind CSS we are importing, like we have up here, we are using here. So automatically this brings Tailwind into the configuration aspect of our application. So let's use it within our app. The next thing we want to go to our CSS file, maybe our index or CSS, or currently if you come to your SRC, and we see we have an app.css, app.jsx. We talk about all these things in details. Our main is our main entry port. Our index.css is where we have all our styling. Let me just, I don't want any existing style. I just want to use Tailwind to start everything from scratch. npm run dev, always if you want to run your application, npm run dev, the next thing we're running. So let's come back here so that we have access to application. Npm run dev. I want to run this particular application in development mode. That is what it is. So it's saying yes, it's still running here. If I come back here and I refresh this, the styles will look broken, but it's not broken. It's just because I've taken away most of those things. And now I'm using Tailwind CSS to style my page. As easy as that. If I come back to my application and let's say we are done with this, we are done with that. Look at your main.jsx. You can see that we are loading our app.jsx and our index.css. This is our application and that's our index. We have a kind of default app there that's using state management to change the number of buttons. Um, we are actually destructuring from use state. So there are so many concepts you need to learn. JavaScript ECMAScript, yes, you need to learn the latest JavaScript, things like the ternary operator, the spread operator, the structuring of arrays, mapping in arrays, and so many other new concepts for you to be able to understand what is going on with React. So let's just write a quick program that will just say hello world for us. I'll take out everything in app.js. I'll leave it broken. If you come back here, you refresh, you see it's broken, it's good. Break things first, then you start fixing them one after the other. So I have an extension. If you're using VS Code, there's an extension for React that makes me to quickly um, come up with a code template for myself to quickly scaffold the codes that I need so that it makes my work shorter. So it's RFCE. That's so you can see a React app is nothing but a function that returns um, a couple of elements, um, just like HTML. And if you want to return elements, you either return them as a fragment or maybe in an upper level element. So all of these things again you can learn these things on your own, or you can let me know. I will start helping us with those videos one by one. I just want you to quickly understand how React is working. So let's say we just want to return, um, let's have a JavaScript somewhere here. Let's have a variable. Let me call it let's greeting should be equal to hello world. And of course, we want to do something with greeting. We want to just print out greeting in within our div tag, or let's say H1. And within our H1, we just want to say, if you want to write JavaScript inside of your React, you write in the curly bracket, then we want to say greeting. So automatically that variable is available to us to use, and you can see we have hello world on this side of the screen. So let's ensure that we are using Tailwind CSS. Let's style it with a Tailwind and be sure that our Tailwind is available to us. Let's just throw in a class here, and let's use maybe the text should be three times larger. Let's say text slash 3XL, and let's try to make it a bold font. Probably it works. And when you come here immediately, you see, yes, you see some updates. The font went to bold. So of course, if you want to see everything that Tailwind has to offer, just go to their documentation, take a look at a whole lot of things. Let's say we are looking at colors, has too many awesome stuffs to go. Um, it has background color, it has this in gap container, background dash white, and yeah, you can do virtually anything you want to do with it. So just like Bootstrap, Tailwind can do a whole lot of things. We are not talking about Tailwind right now, but let's just quickly do something interesting. Let's say we take one of these colors here and add it to the current class that we have. And when you go back to your browser and check what you have in your Vite app, you can see the background color change. So a whole lot of things you can do with Tailwind. So basically all you need to do is install install your React app using Vite, set up your Tailwind, and hey, start coding. Just shipping your code. Every functionality you have is a JavaScript component. Either you're importing it or you're exporting it. You can see these three parts to it. If you want to import anything on this part, then whatever components, functions are components, but here components, whether they have props or not, you're using them, then of course you are going to be exporting them. That's all it is. And the extension of the files these days, if you want to export a full HTML in the component, you use an extension of JSX, JavaScript, yes, JSX or JS. So see you in the next video. Bye.